Hey everybody, Jason and JV here. So today we're in Middleborough, Massachusetts. Originally, this was, well, it was inhabited by 10 different tribes, Native Americans, and the Namasket were here. Namasket stands for place of fish, and it was then incorporated in 1669, I believe, was when they changed the name to Middleborough. So Middleborough, Massachusetts,
What was the year of the Pilgrims?
1620.
Okay, so 1620 to 1669, about a period of about 50 years, the Pilgrims and the English settlers expanded out from immediately on the coast of Plymouth area
Yeah.
into this area, and this was kind of the beginning of the whole English settlement, this
And
whole area.
the Native Americans were like, damn it.
Yeah, well, at first they were welcoming,
Yeah, well,
and then they realized that these settlers are going to just keep coming and coming and
more and
coming.
more.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at a really interesting location. We are at the Oliver House in Middleborough, Massachusetts. Set back about maybe 150, 200 yards off the road. Kind of isolated. Yeah, there's a main road over there, and there's a campground on the other side of the street. But there's reports of mass burials on this property. There's a mound in the front of the property
Yeah.
out near the street, up there in the woods, with supposedly, what, like 1,500 people?
They talk about 1,500 Native Americans having succumbed to smallpox, which at the time was called the white man's disease,
Mm-hmm.
brought over by the European settlers. And they just put them in a mass grave over there. In fact, I think it was some of the British officers from the British Army came across just all these bodies lying all over the place because the Native Americans didn't have the means to bury them as quickly as they needed to. So they just kind of abandoned them, and they put them into these mass burial mounds.
And supposedly there's also more mass burial grounds on the property for tuberculosis.
Yeah.
So the whole grounds, lots of unmarked graves and just mass burial plots. So,
And you can see these old stone walls. I'm assuming they've been here for most of the history, if not all of the history of the property. But the people that maintain the property have done a fantastic job. It's beautiful. The grounds are beautiful. It's park-like, actually.
it really is. Well, and there's an actual walking path that feeds to the back of the property and whole gardens here. I mean, the place is gorgeous. So this was built in what year, Jim?
1669.
1669.
No, I'm sorry.
No, 1660. No,
1769.
1769. So 100 years after they changed the name to Middleborough.
Right.
And it was a wedding gift by Peter Oliver to his son, Peter Oliver. And the family was a very prominent family in this area. They're ironworks. They made everything from shovels to nails to cannonballs. There's an actual mill right on the other side of the main road. That was where their mill property was.
The other thing that's important to note is that the father, Peter Oliver, who was known as the judge, the son, Peter Oliver, was Dr. Peter Oliver. I'm not sure if that was a medical doctor or some other type of doctor, but either way, they were loyalists. They actually were supporters of the English throne and the English monarchy, and that caused a lot of tension between the Oliver family and the families around here that were in support of the Sons of Liberty and the independence movement. So there's a lot of contentious history too.
And at one point, they told the Oliver family, either you join our side or we burn you down. And the Oliver family ended up joining their side. Now, of course, I sit there and I question, did they really join their side? But then later on, they started selling a lot of the things in the property to raise money for weapons and things like that for the Sons of Liberty.
Yeah, in fact, some of the things that were sold here provided funds to the Sons of Liberty, who bought English weapons and English ammunition, and it was used in the first battles of the American Revolution, like Lexington and Concord.
So amazing. So let's go inside and check out the Oliver House. Let's do it. After you, my good sir.
Oh, thank you, my fine sir.
Trying to sound like we're from the time.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I mean, only one of us was. Welcome to the Oliver House.
Welcome to the Oliver House.
All right, here we are. So, look at some of these rooms. So, All right.
So throughout this house, you can see, I mean, the floors are almost entirely original
Yeah.
and in great shape for the fact that they're how many 100 years old.
And uncommonly, the ceilings are high
Yeah.
in a New England home. And usually the ceilings are kept low, keep the heat in. But I guess when you have a ton of money, you don't care where the heat goes.
Yeah, that tells you that this was a family of means.
And what are the 13 fireplaces in this property? I believe it's like 13 fireplaces.
Almost every room has one.
The place is amazing. And there's a lot of paranormal claims that come out through here. So the Ben Franklin room. In 1773, Judge Peter Oliver and Andrew Oliver and Thomas Hutchinson invited Ben Franklin to a lavish party in his honor that was held at the Oliver Hall. The purpose of the invitation was to ensure Ben Franklin would use his power of persuasion in the city of Boston to convenience colonists that continuing with crown rule would be best. If that's not a loyalist right there.
And the story, the legend is that Ben Franklin attended the party, kind of pretended that he was okay with that, but he was already allied with the Sons of Liberty and the independence movement.
Yep.
So he actually, in a way,
Played them.
Played
them. Yeah, that's what us New Englanders refer to it. Played it. All right. There's some fine looking people on top of the fireplace there. So we also, all right, now we have, of course, you got these little walk-through areas, bookshelves. As you can see. Wow. That's not from the day.
No.
Okay. And I love how the rooms, they divide them wide because you have to have a fireplace in there.
Mm-hmm.
But they set it up like areas for reading. Well, it's not like they had TVs or anything back then, but yeah. Just all these little hidden little nooks.
And this area was where, I'm not sure if it was the Oliver family or if it was the next family, the Stoats, that owned the house. But this was where the master of the house kept his liquor.
Well, there's some being kept right there.
Mm-hmm.
Earl's drinking closet. Oh, that's what it's called too. Earl's drinking closet. Come and go between the dining. Yeah, this was his stall. I mean, I think if you're drinking in a closet, it's considered that you have a drinking issue.
Yeah, it might be an issue.
That's when you're thought of as an alcoholic. So again, that takes you back to the front.
Now, this case has a number of items that were found on the property. You can obviously see that many of these had been either in underground or in a place that was getting wet. So they're rusted, but they've been saved here for people to look at and enjoy.
You've got the dining room. You got the kitchen area, which of course is kind of updated. These doors on the side of the fireplace. It's always so cool.
Mm-hmm.
If you can actually get it open. There we go. Just again, little storage areas. At all these places. Now, I know there were quite a few ties to enslaved individuals here on this property. I mean, they were brought here. Some of them were even tricked when they were brought here. Horrible. Told that they were going to be set free and brought here, and they weren't going to be set free.
Well, being as close to the Boston Harbor as this place is, Boston Harbor is where a lot of the slave trade went through when those folks were brought over in chains from Africa. And so it's not unheard of or unlikely that this place would have served as a stop for somebody.
All right, so from here, let's go upstairs. Now, claims consist of voices, objects moving, full body apparitions being seen. What other claims, Jim?
A lot of voices. The apparitions or stories are pretty incredible, which we talk about during the investigation, or will talk about. They have a couple of devices set up in here, which will demonstrate that are set up to help provide some energy for spirits to manifest, and also to give them a way to interact with very little effort.
See the bedrooms in here. I like how there must be some meaning behind why they covered this closet with plastic.
Yep, this is the original wallpaper of the house. And if you look at it very closely, it's clearly hand done, the stenciling and the work. It's not a manufactured paper.
Yeah. I'm happy that they covered it, try to keep it, preserve it. This is just one of the many bedrooms in this property.
All of the windows have window benches.
Yeah, it's neat.
Cool.
Really is neat. All right. Now explain to me that red ball in the bathroom, Jim.
Okay, so Christy, who manages the paranormal events and tours of this place, of the Oliver House, set this up to be kind of a scrying room. She used a different word, but it's basically there's a large mirror reflective device. The toilet is just used as a seat. And that red light is to provide a little bit of illumination. And
the correct ambiance.
Yeah, and the way she explained it is when you look into this large reflective device, and actually you can see the reflection of the mirror that's on the wall, the mirror play gives you some interesting interaction.
You gonna try this later?
Yeah, we should.
All right.
If you put this on.
Well, at least it's not the dress you were wearing last night. All right.
Another paranormal story, another paranormal claim is that the boy who occupied this room, I believe his name was James, and I'm not sure, I think it was the Stote family, will sometimes grab people's ankles from underneath this bed if you're standing there.
That is like a horror story.
Yeah.
That's why people, that's why people don't have their legs hanging off of beds.
That's why you always keep them covered.
Again, the room between these rooms could be its own room. So really could, look.
But you're right, it's because that chimney is so massive.
Yeah. Such an interesting property.
So this room, this lamp, and you'll see this during our investigation because we'll fool around with it. This lamp is connected to what are the static balls called? Is there a name for them?
Oh, like the Edison?
Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Which static electricity will affect. We'll see it in the other room. And Christy has set this up so that if there's interaction with that ball, the light will come on. So you can tell whether something is manipulating the ball because this will illuminate.
All right, so go in the other room. Let's see what happens.
All right.
Let's see what happens here. Yep, there you go. So now, oh geez, now it keeps on getting brighter. All right, what the hell's the bird thing?
And at the very end of the cycle, the bird sings.
That bird right there?
Yes.
Does it just sing, or does it move, or?
I think it just sings. I don't think it moves.
All right, now we got to go into that room and see what Jimmy's actually touching and how this thing works. Because
you don't want to see what I'm touching. It's right in there.
Oh, that thing. Ah. Got it.
The light is changing as we do this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the bird.
So lick your fingers and touch it.
Seriously?
Yeah. Go ahead.
What's gonna happen?
Nothing. Just lick your fingers.
Nothing. That's why you want me to do it. 'Cause nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, just do it. Do it. Go ahead. I was just screwing. But you went for it. Kudos on that. Knocks on that one. You took a chance.
Had me.
You took a chance.
I was ready for it.
You had no idea what was about to happen. Oh my gosh.
This is a nursery, and in this room, one of the claims is that there was a nanny, a caretaker of the children, who does not like this door open and will often slam it shut.
We had on our camera the other night,
We
we were
heard.
investigating. We heard doors shut like 3 times.
That's right.
And that was after Christy left. Huh, we should, at some point then, because we should at least like close the door and see if it makes the same sound that we caught on the camera.
Yeah, tonight we'll set up a static.
I mean, it happened 3 times. Nobody was here.
That's right.
All right. Well, interesting. Why does it have a price of $107.47?
I don't know, but if they give me a 20% discount, I'll think about it.
Kids' room.
Couple interesting things about this room. When the let's check the name so I know. The Jones family lived here, one of the many. There were 3 daughters that occupied this room at the same time, and one of the daughters painted that mural.
It's still there, huh? Oh.
It was covered by wallpaper.
Oh, wow.
And when they took the wallpaper down, they discovered it. And the thing that's a little bit sad is this is the Earth. You can see this is the United States, or the eastern part of the United States. This is Europe.
Oh.
Africa.
I can see it now, yeah.
And
Initially,
Asia.
I thought it was just like sky and clouds.
Yeah, exactly. And they think that this probably originally extended so you could see all of North America. Although, when did she paint this? Because maybe they didn't know. We'll have to ask. Maybe they weren't aware of this part of the United States at that point, or North America at that point. I mean, the English settlers only, occupied the eastern part until basically the Lewis and Clark expedition, which is early 1800s.
And then the gold rush after.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So now the Olivers had children that they lost, correct?
I think the Olivers lost 3 children.
3 children. And they passed away here on the property?
Yeah.
And there's been quite a few deaths on the property.
There's been a lot. One of the women who lived here, I always have trouble with the name, Bethania.
Yep.
Bethania Stote. I'll make sure I guess Stote. Bethania Stote was born here, grew up here, married here, had children here who died here, and then she died on the property. And according to Christy, again, the manager of the paranormal part of this facility, and more actually, she says that that's the strongest presence here is this Bethania Stote.
Okay. There is an attic here, but we're not going to go up there. The place is trying to be fixed up for safety purposes. There is a basement. Now, the interesting thing about the basement, we can talk about that when we get down there. How about that? Because there's some questionable stuff with it as well. So we have been investigating the last few days, and the nice thing is, like what JV was saying about that room where James had stayed, we have brought in Jim's son, James, to investigate as well. And Sherry DiBenedetti will be joining us as well. So figured we'd have them with us for a night, get a little, group investigation thing going on, and see what happens.
Yeah, different perspectives, some different ideas, and different energy.
Absolutely. All right, let's head to the basement, Jim. Here we go.
I don't know what they're trying to keep out from coming upstairs.
Whatever it is, I don't know.
Do we need flashlights down here?
I don't know.
I mean, there's light in the center.
Yeah, then we should be good.
Okay. This is pretty treacherous.
Let's see if we kill ourselves doing this.
Careful when doing that with the camera.
Yep. A little tough trying to hold a camera and do this. All right. All right. It's just my arm. Don't worry about it. I did that same thing the other night. Okay. Welcome to the basement of the Oliver house. We have more lights over there. Is this it?
I don't think there's any lights over here.
All right. But where Jim's standing right now, if you can see him, tell us the story, Jim.
So, again, Christy's done a lot of investigating here.
Turn on my light on my phone for you. All right.
Christy's done a lot of investigating and exploring here. And this is a dirt floor. Where the stairs come down in the basement, there's a cement pad, but this is dirt. She was using dowsing rods down here. And the dowsing rods directed her to this particular area of the basement. They crossed here, so she started to dig. Not aggressively, but scrape away the dirt. And she came across bones. She went a little further, came across some more bones. So she notified the authorities. They came, they looked, they said, according to Christy, don't disturb it anymore. Just leave it. And that's how it sits.
So, and the only thing that makes me wonder about that is if there were bones, wouldn't they want to know if they were like new bones, old bones?
Well, they may have known when they looked that they were old. I don't know. But yeah, that's a really good question. You'd think they would have wanted to look a little further if they had any reason to believe that it was something other than something that has been here for several hundred years.
Interesting. Why there be human bones all in the basement.
You can also see how large the chimney foundations are on both sides of this basement.
It's a monster.
Massive.
And this door over here, where does that go out to?
It goes outside to the Bilko.
Oh, okay. So just
this is another interesting fact. First of all, the date of
1769.
1769. This, I think, is a little newer, this masonry work. But you can see that there used to be something here, whether they had like a fireplace down here or a wood, some kind of coal stove inserted in here or something.
Well, you know, if you look here to the right, looks like the area they'd have like a bread.
Yeah, it does actually. You're right.
So honestly, I hate to say it, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they had enslaved people living down here, and this is
where they cooked.
Yeah,
it's certainly not far-fetched.
And over the last couple nights that we've been investigating, at one point we were down here, we heard what sounded like cannon fire.
Yep.
Another time we were down here, we heard what sounded like somebody walking right above us, as if like heel to toe,
almost like marching.
Yeah,
almost like it sounded like several footsteps in sync, like a couple of men marching. Jeez. You want to look at the tunnel? Where the tunnel?
Yeah, we can show where the tunnel is.
So one of the things that we are always fascinated by is when these older structures had a reason to have tunnels. Now, you can see here there's what used to be an archway. And that archway was a tunnel that went out to the barn. Now, whether they did that because the climate got hard to deal with in the winter,
or they escape,
or an escape. I mean, during the Revolutionary War, that would have been something that people needed, or when they were dealing with Native American hostilities, they would have needed that. Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons they would have had that.
Now we'll take you for a quick walk through the back of the property and show you some of the grounds. We don't kill ourselves getting out of here. All right, here we go.
Good luck.
As long as I don't crack my head.
Yeah, I know that's the problem. You gotta kind of walk up sideways.
Yep. Should not have had that burger for lunch.
Ooh. There is video. I'm not sure this is one that we can share of this being taken out of the structures and falling, which is a pretty interesting paranormal experience.
That would seem like a lot of effort to take that out.
For two reasons. It's notched, so it doesn't move, like it won't move.
Mm-hmm.
And the store puts a lot of pressure on it.
Yeah.
So,
Should we go out this way?
sure.
So, no, we can go out this way.
No?
Maybe not. Yeah, well,
no,
no, that one's a lie. So we'll go around the front of the property because we prefer not to break things if we don't have to.
we don't like breaking things.
No. I love these door locks.
I know.
They're phenomenal.
Well, you know, there was a blacksmith somewhere making those things by hand.
So we can go this way. Again, you have a barn. You have a the stables over here. And off to our right is a path, a walking path. People can go up and down. Because the whole place is surrounded by water. We're right on pretty much the beginning of the Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And again, there's mass graves around here on this property. There's mounds that just have an untold amount of bodies in them.
This shrubbery work is reminiscent of an old English
Shrubbery?
an old English country estate. They would have similar looking gardens.
There's a gate straight back there. It's a random gate.
Oh, yeah.
So do they know where the other mounds are? Well, I'm sure they do, right?
Yeah, they're in the woods a little ways.
I mean, look at the stone wall still.
Oh, yeah. It's gorgeous.
It's still going, too. Yeah, it wraps all the way around.
Oh, that's cool.
And a lot of times they use stone walls. They would mark out their property lines.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a random gate. Not quite sure why it's there, but it's there. It's peaceful.
It really is. Given how generally populated this area is, this is a little bit of a refuge.
Yeah. As long as you don't mind bugs.
Yeah, well, there's that.
I was out here yesterday. There were bunny rabbits that were all right around. I mean, they didn't care. I was walking right up to them.
They don't know.
Oh, there's one right there. Yeah.
They don't know your history with Hassenpfeffer, do they?
I've eaten rabbit once in my life.
A good German you are.
I mean, he's still there. Look, he's not even really running. He's just like, stay away.
Well, Christy feeds them.
Oh, does she?
Yep. If that rabbit came to you by calling it, I would call you Dr. Doolittle from now on.
He doesn't really care. Hi, buddy.
They're so adorable.
They are. I saved one from a cat a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was a baby.
Mm.
Yeah, when you go to pick them up, they make weird noises.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
Like they're yelling at you.
They make very strange sounds.
Anyways, hope you enjoyed checking out the Oliver House, Middleborough, Massachusetts. Stay tuned, because we've got a great investigation of this property coming up. Stay safe, everyone.